Michigan 10. Yeah. Alright, we got the great Michigan 10 coming up. So we are back in Detroit where we've used to be all the time, but we are actually in it again. See, Michigan 10's route goes from downtown Detroit to the middle of nowhere near Charter Township. You're watching Super Reviews. If you guys aren't subbed, please sub. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs, and we will open up a Discord when we get there. We are almost at 870. Thank you guys. Before we get started, you can request your answer in your section in the comments below. It's free. You can have a request in the comments or you request it on the community page. US 422 is one of them coming on Thursday. So technically be in the same general area-ish. Alright, let's start with northbound Michigan 10. But before we do that, why don't we begin off 575, where 375 splits for downtown Detroit, and we'll follow 375 for a little bit. But however, we get 75 South Toledo. Now we're just getting Madison Avenue as our primary control state, no 375. Madison Avenue is just an exit, no 375 mentioned. Lafayette Avenue is where we will head to. Here's that split, and usual for Detroit, there is construction. They're trying to get rid of this road, and I think that is a good thing. See, here's some look of downtown Detroit. We'll be following Jeffries Avenue coming up. Here's Chrysler Drive, 375 doing its sharp right turn to go into downtown Detroit. And here's a look of downtown Detroit as soon as we go into it. And here's another look of downtown Detroit. Detroit I like to get to, especially as a Lions fan. And to the left is the Windsor Tunnel. We'll talk about that when we come back. And here's some cool, whatever you call them, infrastructures or something that starts with an S. And we'll be going under his tunnel under the Detroit Convention Center, and we'll start Michigan 10. So here we go under the Convention Center, and we will get Michigan 10. It's just signed for nothing. See, outside of the Convention Center, we just get 10 North. So another Florida thing again. But we do get some nice tunnels as we go around the bend, so that's pretty cool. We jump ahead to the I-75 junction where we get Toledo and Flint. 10 will now be signed for Southfield, which I guess is sensible. So, however, we still get 10 North, so Southfield goes away basically right away. And we are near the WSU area. I don't know what that is. West State University or something. Here's I-94 for Port Huron, and it's just getting ramped close because as Detroit, there's a lot of construction like Toronto. But we do get cool 94 West Chicago, no Ann Arbor, which it shouldn't be Ann Arbor at all. But now Southfield will still be our primary control state, but for some reason it's closed, as per usual in Detroit. And for the rest of his road, this road will basically go under a ton of bridges and tunnels. Here we meet the Davidson Freeway, which is Highway 8. And it's just what it gets, Davidson Freeway. But now 10 has suddenly switched to Lansing. We are nowhere near Southfield yet, so why would you switch it now? And here's a cool 6-lane freeway as it usually is throughout this general area. And here's what it's like. It's just basically a Texas configuration, but with a ton of stuff going on. On mileage signs, now we get 8 Mile Road coming up. We'll talk about that soon. And 9 Mile Road, wow. And Southfield Road. Here's our split of 102 for 8 Mile Road. And we do come to our Southfield Road Junction, exit 14C. Wow, not that long in. Anyways, on ramps We get 10 north and 696 west for Lansing. We did 696 not that long ago. And we are coming up to some general Southfield area, so yeah, they're signing Lansing way too early. Here's US 24, I will get to that whenever we're in Detroit again. Maybe not. Here's 696 west for Lansing, and 10 will now be signed for Northwestern Highway. I mean, there's really nothing to sign north of Southfield. And after that, we are basically into an 8-lane substandard road. Here's our end of it. So now it would be time to turn around and go back south. So that means we'll now go southbound on Michigan Highway 10. We'll begin in the substandard road again. This time we will turn left where those 3 lanes are heading towards. Here's a look of what this substandard street is like. It's 6 lanes here, but it gets wider the more we go forward. And I do like these strip malls. I guess it's sort of alright through here. Here's US 24 and 696 will head over to Port Huron, which would really be Toronto. That should be really cool. And on US 24, it's 696 East Port Huron, 10 South Detroit. And then we get Laser Road. Don't really know how that's said. That's downtown Southfield straight ahead. Here's a look at that 696 junction. It's a little complicated with the frontage road that's 10. But 10 will fortunately be signed for nothing. And here's another look of, I believe, downtown Southfield, if not Dearborn. And here's a look of Southfield as 10 goes through it. Here's 39, which is a real Southfield freeway. And Northland, that's weird with Northland to Southfield. But 10 will be signed south for Detroit from here on out, and is what it actually should be. Here we go. This is like DC, what we saw in US 1 last week. And here's what it's like on some of the interchanges. It's a bit weird of how it's going on. And here's a KFC. Wow, first KFC that I've seen that doesn't have a Taco Bell right next to it. Here's Wyoming Avenue, which is nowhere near Wyoming. This is in Detroit. Wyoming's like really far away in 2 time zones. Exit 9 for Livernois Avenue, which is kind of the weirdest street name I've ever seen. And here's a weird turnaround ramp, which I don't think any car uses, and there's no signs about it. Here's a Linwood Avenue, exit 8, and it's a bit better. And here's what probably the Detroit Lions record will be next year on that bridge. Davidson Freeway right here. Again, nothing. West should mention 996, maybe. We're back to our maybe 8-lane freeway. It could be confusing with the markings here. And here's a weird exit ramp right here, 6B. It just goes on to this random neighborhood and then to a major road. Here's I-94, Port Huron in Chicago. And we get 4th Avenue and Warren Avenue coming up. See, we get 10 North Southfield, 10 South downtown. So no more Detroit, just downtown. We might be in Detroit city limits, so that makes sense. Here we go, Grand River Avenue, which is where the Red Wings and Pistons are. Here's the I-75 junction, Flint and Toledo. North, I don't know what else you would sign other than Flint. 10 on I-75, 10 to sign north for Southfield. And then Huntington Place. Huntington Place is a convention center. And here we go near the convention center. And they're about to enter into downtown Detroit coming up. So here's our tunnel under the Detroit Convention Center. And we'll soon be in downtown Detroit. After that, we enter downtown Detroit. If you turn right, you could go into Windsor Tunnel and go into Canada. See, Detroit's really close to Canada, so on the other side of the river is Windsor, Canada, Ontario. And here's a different, shorter street but in downtown Detroit. It's pretty cool through here. And inside, this is the Lions Stadium. Go Lions. And screw the Commanders for deciding to beat the Lions. And here's the Tiger Stadium on the other side, which is pretty cool. And this is 375 will be joining against 2 all freeways. Does that mean like 2 every single freeway in the world in Flint? And on ramps, there's no 375 mentioned. Well, I get it because they're getting rid of this road soon. And we'll end right here at I-75 and the same control cities that we saw before, and those were Flint and Toledo. Mainline 375 will head over to northbound I-75 and we'll follow it to the Mackinac Bridge. But we will not actually go to the Mackinac Bridge. Instead, we'll talk of the way it should be for Michigan 10. I'd say they do a really good job. North, Southfield, and stick with Southfield. It's too early to sign Lansing. Then after Southfield signed Lansing and South Detroit's cool. Alright, we got US 422 coming to you on Thursday. Looking forward to that.